Hi everyone, it's Jen. This week I've been working more on kind of the remake of Soul Union, and I've been working on the GUI. This is kind of what I have so far. I just threw in some filler assets as far as like the artwork, and this background is from Soul Labyrinth. It was just to kind of see how the different elements would work. This time around, I am trying to keep the screen hopefully with as little. I'm trying to show as much background as possible. So most of the time when there's no speech text going on, this should kind of be what the player sees. I'm planning on having interactive elements in the background, although unlike Soul Labyrinth, it won't be meant to be a puzzle. There will be no like hidden objects. Things will highlight. They will have like a hover screen to know that it's where you should interact. So I took a lot of feedback from Soul Labyrinth, and I thought a lot about what I wanted players to experience, and certainly frustration was not one of the things that I was intending for players to experience. And so revisiting Soul Union, I really did want to increase the sense of exploration. That was always a big part of what I wanted players to experience when I was creating the first game. So I do think that having interactive elements in the background will help bring out that aspect of the story. But I decided to get rid of the energy system, and to make it less about solving puzzles and more about the story and the character developments as it was in the first game. So I didn't want there to be any confusion as to what parts of the background are interactive, and I didn't want there to be any penalty for exploring as much as the player desires. I did want to try to keep the GUI as unintrusive as possible, with also keeping to the themes of the game. So I wanted it to be minimalistic while still being a little fancy. If that's possible, or if I was successful in that at all, I'm not sure. I was going for something kind of like root looking borders that I think kind of harken to like the design of the first game, but we'll see. I'm thinking that these portrait sprites will kind of like slide in from the side here, and that you'll be able to easily toggle on and off the kind of stat information here by just kind of touching their nameplate. This map, item, and skill, active skill tabs up here will be kind of similar to Soul Labyrinth in the sense that these two will open separate windows. This will just toggle between power, empathy, and logic. So I wanted these three traits to have a more active role in gameplay. So much like in Soul Labyrinth, that didn't really get touched upon too much. There was two stats that were fortune and mastery. These stats will have more of an impact of how you interact with objects in the world, and you will be able to kind of choose which approach you're using as you interact with elements in the world. I also want to make these choices more clear to the player when they are making decisions. So each trait is going to be color coded, with empathy being kind of this bluish green. Oops, logic will be kind of more this yellowy color, and power will be kind of this purpley pinky color, so that players will kind of have a more clear understanding of like what answers align with what trait, and yeah, there'll be more of a clear association with those things. I was also taking some feedback from the parody game that I made, trying to make movement as simple as possible. So instead of having a map system where you open up the map and have to use that to move, or have like a menu system where you have to open up the menu option to move, I'm just going to have these movement buttons here at the bottom. And if you can move, west, then this will have like a hover screen that will show that you can activate it, and if not, then it'll just be like grayed out somehow so that you know that it's not an option, and there will be no like consumption of any resource to move. You'll just be able to move as freely as you want. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to redesign the gardens, the first level, with this new structure. There's going to be more of I think a climactic encounter with an adverse force when you're summoning your companion. The companions are going to be more representative and aligning with the certain traits. So I did decide to have 3 companion choices, one that represents each one of the 3 traits. So the options are going to be Casca, Mikhail, and Gray. I apologize to anybody who was hoping that Simeon would make it into the story. I just want to put more of a focus on this certain narrative and gameplay themes. So when I was thinking about how I could make more of the story and gameplay strengthen those themes and support those themes, I decided that I wanted to go ahead with just the 3 companions, which will still be one more companion than is in the draft version. I guess that's out right now. Yeah, so this is generally where I'm going with the redesign of the GUI. And I'm pretty satisfied, I think, with the overall look of it and feel of it. I want to get started on the sprites pretty soon. These portrait sprites will be animated. It will be a little similar to Soul Labyrinth, as there will be these portrait sprites, and then there will be like 3/4 full body sprites for more of the story focused parts of the gameplay. I do plan on having these be completely separate sprites this time around, so that I can focus more on building parts, more detailed parts for the face, the closer up face animations, and focus more on just like the puppeteering the body parts on the more full body animations. I'm going with a little bit more of a simple, clean art style to make the production of these sprites easier to maintain and produce, so that they will be more consistent, and hopefully that I'll be able to have more varied art assets without it being too laborious. And that's kind of where I am this week. There's a lot of things I was thinking that I wanted to talk about after I did last week's video, where I was talking a little bit about my research mode. It made me think of some other topics that I'd like to just kind of share. But I don't think I'm ready to talk about it today. I think I need a little bit more time to think before I speak. But I look forward to catching up with you next week, and I hope you're well and that you are enjoying the process. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.